Welcome back, everyone. Today is September. It's Friday the 13th, and we're out here probably going to be taking our last look at the food plot here. So tomorrow starts up our hunting season, first day of squirrel season. So I'm going to take my daughter out. We're going to go with some friends, do a little hunting, or more or less walk around in the woods with some noisy kids. But I want to take one quick look here and show you how things progress this year. So this is the area here that I had no-tilled in after we had a soybean failure. And this is the earliest planted brassicas. So purple top, that's what we put in here. And I just want to show you the height we're looking at here. So let me see if I can get a good angle there. So if you can see, it's taller than my boot now. It's up to my knees. And I'm about 5'11", so whatever that math works out to. But they are very big, very leafy. More food in here than these deer will be able to eat within the next couple months. So what we have in here, even with the really high deer density that I have, I expect that this will last quite a while. And I'll show you why. We'll pull a bulb out here. The bulb is not done growing. So typically what I see, once these brassicas get about this height, pretty much everything from there forward goes down into the root, making that radish as big as possible, or turnip in this case. So this turnip is about the average size I'm seeing down in there. This will probably be about the size of a softball. Well, this one won't since I pulled it. But the other ones that are still down in here and living, they'll be about the size of a softball by the time we get probably the end of this month. Once they reach October, that first frost starts to come around, they'll be pretty much done growing. But the leafiness will still be out there for the deer to eat, and they'll eat this stuff well into November, at which point they'll start digging for the root. They'll be eating the turnips for another month or two. And then typically what I see, the deer will fall back in, try to eat mostly browse until we get a good snow, and then they'll come out and just try to work up anything they can find. So any leftover turnips, anything they can pull up out of the ground and eat, that's what they'll do. But now I want to go take a look at the Evergreen Rotation. So this is the concept I've had for the last few years. Been trying to prove it out, and I think this year I've actually got it just about perfect. All right, so we're standing here. This is the Evergreen Rotation. Now, I've mentioned it a few times, but for anyone new, the basic concept here is your clover, after a couple of years, is going to fix a bunch of nitrogen, and then you're going to have weed competition, and it doesn't matter how many times you mow, doesn't matter what you spray on it, it's always going to keep coming back. So my concept here was, well, then why don't I use something that's also advantageous, as something that the deer are going to eat and suck that nitrogen up out, and let's see if we can do it without killing off the clover. So the concept here is pretty straightforward. Come in, spray it on the light end of glyphosate. That's not going to kill your clover. It's going to set it back. So you set your clover back. You go and you drill in your brassicas. I think if you just broadcast it in, that would probably work just as well. You do this right before a big rain. And then what happens is those brassicas come up. They're really nitrogen hungry, and they will be putting out roots, looking to pull in all the nitrogen they can. And they will pick up that nitrogen that clover's been storing down in the soil, in the roots of the clover, and it'll eat that up. And then next year what I'll do, I'll come in here when there's still snow, I will frost seed into this, and it will help any of the areas where there's a little bit of clover that might have got killed off. It'll replenish that. But most of the field is going to be replenished by the clover that's already been here, and it got set back. The brassicas are out competing it at the moment, but if we look down in here, which we will, the clover's still down in there. It's still growing some. It's going to do absolutely fine. Come spring, these brassicas aren't going to come back, and all that will be left is a clover, and one, maybe two mowings, and this field will be back to being a perfect clover field. So I've done this before, and I have another video, and I believe it's titled something like why mowing won't fix your clover plots, where I talk about the same thing. And if you want to go see what the clover plots can look like after this process, go check out that video. I'll try to link it here. Okay, so we're going to have a look here, and as you can see, we got a few grasses here and there, but we got brassicas growing up. They're doing real well. We got clover down in here. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And if we look around here, you can see the brassicas have actually come up even higher than the last time I did this. So the last time I would say they probably peaked out at about 6 inches. I'm seeing some of the ones in here, like this one, grown up plenty taller than that. So let's have a look around here and see what it looks like. So here you can see clover's doing really well. Brassicas are mixed in there pretty well. So as you can see, the clover here is doing really well. The brassicas, or the brassicas, as Don Mealy likes to say, they are also doing well. So I'm really pleased with this. This is turning out incredibly well. Another application of no-till. So if you've been watching this channel, you know, I used to till. Very first place I had, it was about 39 acres, and I had a little spot about 1.5 acres, and every year I'd go in there and till up the ground, and every year I'd go in there and spread seed, and it would just come up with nothing but weeds. And this was early, right? The days of all these YouTube videos out there that we could go watch wasn't around then. And failure after failure. Now, we did have some decent forums we could go take a look at, and that's where it kind of started. I started to learn that, you know, you don't need to till this ground up. And you have small seeds like clover, brassica, they will do just fine when you don't till. So go in and spray, broadcast whatever in that you're trying to put in there, especially if it's a smaller seed. Let it reach the soil just through rain. It'll make perfectly fine seed to soil contact, and you'll end up with a very good crop of whatever it is you're trying to grow. So I've been doing that for about the last decade and a half, and as you can see, I've gotten better and better. Probably can't see that on a GoPro, but we got deer running away. They want me to get out of here so they can get their dinner. So that's the evergreen plot. We took a look at that. We have 2 more subplots in this main food plot to look at. First one's right in front of my redneck, and then the other one is that field that I like to leave for the poults, right? I let it grow up, cut some trails through it, make it so that the poults have a nice place to survive. And then once we get kind of mid-August, I'll go in, spray everything down, try to get something planted for the deer, because at that point the turkey poults are able to fly. Really no reason that I need to keep that field grown up in weeds. So we're gonna go take a look at that, and just want to take one more quick look here. So as you can see, my truck without a dent in it's right there. We got these 2 or 3, turn the screen on so I can see it. So we've got these 2 test plots right here, 2 little test strips. I don't know if you can see that over there. This was the area that I just went through. I just mowed this down, didn't spray. This was grasses, it wasn't clover. So just some grasses, cut it down really short, and went through with the drill when I was going between the plots, and I decided, well, let's just put a row in and see how it does. And as you can see, it's actually grown up fairly well. So, and some of you might be yelling at your screen right now, yeah, why don't you do that with your clover? Just cut it down and no-till into that. You don't even have to spray it. Tried that last year. I have a video I'll probably try to link here on how that failed. So clover chokes everything out, you got to set it back. So maybe you've had better luck than me, I don't know, but I gave it a really good try last year. Got it cut down as low as I absolutely could with a flail mower, drilled into it, and almost nothing came up because that clover grew right back up and choked it all out. There's my other test strip. Pretty impressive, actually. So now we're standing in the area that I had drilled with more purple top right in front of my redneck here. So hopefully these deer will come right through here, and maybe my daughter or one of her friends can shoot a doe coming through here in the archery season. But as you can see here, growing really well. Not quite as big as that first plot we looked at, but they're doing very well, and pretty much weed free. So just another testament to spraying, no-tilling, coming back and spraying. So this area over here, though, we're gonna go take a look at. I wasn't able to spray it a second time, so I had thought we were gonna see a complete failure in there, but let's go have a look and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the area that I had came in, I had sprayed it, but the grasses were pretty tall by the point that I had sprayed it. And then I went in and drilled it. And I wanted to get back out here. I wanted to put a second spraying on it right after I drilled. Now, You might be thinking, oh, well, if you spray after you drill, isn't that going to kill it? Well, no, the seeds won't affect the seeds. The proof is in the pudding. The area over here has been double sprayed, super clean, nothing but turnips in there for the most part. Area over here, sprayed it once, drilled in, came back about a week later, 2 weeks later, drilled into it, and didn't get a chance to double spray it. And as you can see, my plot suffered for it. Now, it's not a complete failure though. If you look over here and over there, we did get some germination. We got some pretty good growth too. So all in all, I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. You know, the fact that I didn't get out here to spray the second time, some spots it just got absolutely outcompeted. But all in all, we still probably have another 1.5 acres out of the 3 that's in here that has good turnips growing on it. It's going to feed the deer. So this area, like I'd said, I like to leave it for the turkeys. I like to try to get those poults to survive. About 5 years ago, if you went back 5 years, maybe 10, there were almost no turkeys in here to speak of. If you went back 20 years, there were actually quite a few. But about 10 years ago, just not many turkeys making it through. So I made it my mission to try to get those numbers up. And now there's 3 flocks that come around in here. 2 of them pretty much live right in the area. There's some logging going on right now, so I see them here and there, but not quite as much. But I know once that logging is done, they'll be right back in here. In fact, there's an area, can't see it from here, but right back over there, there's some big oaks and some maples back in there. And those turkeys have always roosted there. I specifically made that area off limits for the loggers. I put a camera over there, and not that I really had to, but just so I know, made sure nobody's going in there. They didn't cut any of those trees. But anyways, those efforts have paid off. There's 3 flocks of turkeys in here. Like I said, 2 of them live in here, and I couldn't be happier. Spring gobbler season is pretty eventful around here, even though I haven't actually shot one the last couple of years. I haven't really cared to. That sounds like cope, but it's not. But yeah, so I've been pretty happy with bringing the turkey numbers back where they should be. But here you go. Take a look. You see we're doing pretty well in some of these areas. So I know there's a lot of folks out there that have trouble. They see what I've done here and they want to do the same sort of thing. In fact, the forester that I have coming in here to help me with this timber sale, he's been asking a bunch of questions. He wants me to help him out next year. So I haven't decided yet, but I'm contemplating potentially planting food plots for folks next year. I'm in the northwest Pennsylvania area. So if I do get some interest, I might try to do that. Even if it's not so much to make money, I enjoy doing this, and I like teaching people and developing plans, you know, taking something from a concept until I can actually see it and then see the results, kind of like I did here with the turkeys. So haven't decided, but I might do that. In fact, if you watch these guys, or Mike Morgan with Outdoors with the Morgans, he has a really good YouTube channel. Spends a lot of time in the outdoors just doing different work. And but one of the projects he had was a food plot he's been developing. So he cleared the area out, has all the machinery to do that himself, got that all taken care of, and now he's tried to put a food plot in, and it's failed multiple times. And you know, I've tried to help, but I'm just some random guy on YouTube putting comments in. But that's the sort of thing where I like to try to help folks. I've already helped my brother and a couple other folks put food plots in and get some real world good results. In fact, some nice bucks have been shot because of having smaller food plots usually. But like you can see here, this is 9 acres. So I've put in quite a few acres of food plots over the years. But yeah, the day's drawing to a close. These deer want to get out here and eat. Oh, there's one right there. And they are getting pretty restless. They're used to being out here about an hour before dark and feeding in here like crazy. By this time of the day, I'd usually have about 20 deer out in here. And yeah, it is there goes another one. It is a problem. I just don't have a good way to get rid of the does here in Pennsylvania. There's no separate landowner allocations for doe tags. So there's no good way to really control their population. And I've tried to bring some folks in to help me kill them. Never works out. All that ends up happening is they won't shoot does. They want to shoot a buck. even if you ask them specifically to shoot a doe. You know, so it's the way it works out, unfortunately. Wish I could do something about the doe population. She is like, come on, get out of here. I'm so hungry. But it's getting late and these deer are getting hungry. They want to get out here. Usually by this time of the day, there'd be about 20 of them out here. So I am going to get on the road, and that'll probably wrap this one up. And until the next one, thanks for tuning in, guys.